All right, yet another day we have come to understand something about our bodies, how God has designed our bodies. Your body and your health is the series that we shall be going through. Today we may not be on the Meet Google because the time is occupied by some other schedule which need my personal presence, but we will go and meet it on YouTube at that very instance of time. So, your body and your health. Our topic today is the language of your body. I want to make this simple yet understandable. Day to day life experiences that govern, that rule, that decide, that dictate our health. So, the language of your body, and we shall see how your body communicates before disease develops. The different ways your body tells you that here we are feeling not okay, we are feeling not okay. And if you look at your screen there, you can see a woman in pain. Probably the lower arm would tell much about the point of the pain. I believe the pain is in the abdomen, maybe, and she needs to listen. Maybe the image shows us that she is hearing the sounds, but is she responding to the pain, to the signal that the body is giving? So in this we are going to see how we can help our bodies and how we can learn and hear the messages that the body sends us, recognizing that our body speaks through different ways, and the more we are able to identify these signals earlier, the more we are improving our chances of living better. So that brings us to move on to the next, uh, asking these questions. What if pain isn't your enemy but a messenger? Have you ever paused and asked that? You see, we have heard so much of the word painkiller, painkiller, painkiller. Now, painkiller is murder of pain, and no killer is right with God. So if you are murdering pain, it means you are looking at pain as an enemy who needs to be killed out. Why does the body send us pain? Why does the body cry out with pain to us? What if fatigue, thirst, hunger, and fever are your body's way of asking for help? What if? What if? Other than looking at them as enemies, but what if the bodies cry for assistance, for help in many things? So while symptoms can have many different causes, paying attention to them instead of uh, ignoring them can lead us to better health decisions. Sometimes we see symptoms as enemies. We are ready to combat and fight against them. These signals send messages which we need to hear, respond to, and acknowledge that they are calling for our attention. So, there are many warning signs of the body. Uh, there are very many warning signs of the body that the body uses to cry out, especially. We cannot see the internal, but we can learn of it from what expresses on the external. So, some of the body signals include pain, which comes with injury or illness, fatigue, a symbol of unrest, a symbol of stress, illness, and others, thirst, uh, fever, nausea, um, shortness of breath, or difficulty in breathing, dizziness. They are all some of the signs that the body uses to communicate to us, to tell us many things about our body. But our ability to listen and recognize them is what we need to find. So, these are some of the cries the body makes to tell you there's something that is not wrong. Let me first go to image one. Constant yawning, symbol of low oxygen. Now you realize If you sleep late, the next day you will find it hard to work. You'll be yawning, difficult, sleeping, sleepy, dizzy, and you symbol that the oxygen supply is low. It is also the body needs support, needs your assistance. So bad breath is a symbol of gut problems. Now we are used to brushing out the teeth and getting the smell from maybe the toothpaste, but sometimes bad breath is a symbol of gut challenges. Chronic constipation is one of the symbols of bad breath. Sometimes instead of another type of toothpaste, you just need a cleansing from your gut. Ringing ears, symbol of high blood pressure. Burning tongue, that is vitamin B deficiency. Dizziness, symbol of low blood sugar. I remember one time we were ministering somewhere, and somebody fainted. It was she was performing some music, and she fainted out of the blue. So when she fainted, on research, we found out that she had taken more than 30 hours without eating anything, and her hydration was very low. So low blood sugar can be cried out by dizziness or sugar cravings. Craving for sugar is one symbol of magnesium deficiency. You can have leg swelling or edema, symbol of kidney and heart dysfunction or disease. Loss of smell, that is zinc deficiency. Frequent headaches, a symbol of dehydration. Now, dehydration, we shall get time and extrapolate on that. You will find that many, if not like 60 to 70% of the diseases that challenge us are conditions or consequences of dehydration. Then, excess hair loss is symbol of iron deficiency. Then, night cramps, low magnesium, yellow eyes, liver troubles. Sometimes we know it as jaundice. Then numbness in the hands, symbol of vitamin B deficiency, bleeding gums, uh, cold hands and feet, poor circulation. So cracked lips, that is dehydration, pale skin, brittle nails, dehydration, frequent colds, slow healing when you get maybe a cut. That may be a symbol of vitamin C deficiency. Bad mood oftenly symbol of omega-3 deficiency and B vitamins deficiency. Cold hands and feet, you have talked about that. Brain fog, symbol of low oxygen, and many, many other cries that the body uses to alarm us that I am not doing well. I need some assistance. I need part of your help. I need your attention. But sometimes we do not give it attention. We continue to pump it, silence the alarms, silence the alarms. Today I was given. I tried to put an alarm in my phone, and it was saying at 4:40 you got to wake up. And indeed, the alarm was faithful. At 4:40 it made the noise. But I woke up and I turned it down. I even didn't snooze, but I just dismissed it. Lo and behold, it was 6 a.m. and I had not yet woken up. So, and now that means that I have stolen 20 minutes out of my work time. So even our symptoms, the more we silence them, the more they build up, the more we find ourselves in a crisis that we shouldn't get into. If we responded to the first cry, so why do we ignore the signals that the body gives us? What causes people to ignore these signals? You see, the Bible tells us here in Psalms 32, verse 8, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. Then Proverbs 4:20 tells us, pay attention to my words, for they are life and health to one's whole body. So we got to pay attention to what the body is telling us. God will instruct us through that we may learn of the different things that we need to keep our body healthy. But when we do not listen or take heed to the sounds that the body is giving us, we shall find ourselves in more stress than more suffering than what the body was signaling us. So, what are the causes of the things that cause us not to respond to the signals the body is crying out to us? Number one, we are too busy. We are too busy. Today we are in a very fast world, and sometimes people say you blink, you lose. And that means even you don't have time to manage your body. You don't have time to check upon your health. Every time we are too busy for life, we won't find time for good health. Now, somebody told me, a friend of mine, that we are only making money to pay it to the doctor to give us health. But what if we make that money to enjoy it rather than taking it to a doctor to buy health? How? First of all, by responding to these signals that the body gives us. Another reason why people fail to respond to these signals, they do self-medication without addressing the cause. For example, if I have something like maybe a minor headache and something, I may grab a, 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 a painkiller, so to speak, or something like for headache, and then I take. Now I don't know why that headache is happening. Sometimes my pressure is high, that's why I'm getting the headache. Sometimes it's dehydration. Sometimes maybe at worst it's a tumor in the head. But if you just take painkillers, pain medications, you are treating the symptom without addressing the cause. Get my point? So then some people are just feeling normal with poor health. After all, everyone will die. So why do I mind about health? Then another thing is ignoring stress, then delaying to seek help. You see, if let me use this analogy. If you have a machine that you are using for work, sometimes there's something that tells you this machine, if I take it to the mechanic, it may be worse than even I think. So you keep on using it until it just breaks down completely. Even our body, sometimes we fear, you're like, if I go to seek out for help, I may discover that I have more problems than I expect. So let me just endure for a while. And by the time you visit the physician, you are at worst. So what do? Seek medical attention faster before it gets worse. So we need to listen before disease progresses. Notice the changes in your energy. Notice the changes in your energy. These are if we hear these little voices speaking to us, it will be easier to respond. It will be easier to reclaim our health. So I encourage you to notice the changes in your energy. Monitor how you sleep, your sleep quality. When I sleep, do I get enough of the sleep? Do I make it to 7 hours, 8 hours, or I just sleep for 3 hours and that's all? Pay attention to the digestion. Yeah, pay attention to digestion. How one of the ways to know that your digestion is working well, by the way, Dr. Kellogg, in his book Health Habits, tells us that per, per meal, every meal equals an evacuation. That means if you eat 3 times a day, you need to go to the toilet 3 times a day. If you eat two, probably two would be the least times. But today we see men and women, they eat 3 times a day, but they visit the toilet 3 times a week. That is severe constipation. And if it is not addressed, fermentation occurs in the gut, and many diseases of inflammation arise because of that. But we don't give attention to such kind of cause because we are not accustomed to anyway. So recognize emotional stress. What things stress me? And when I am stressed, what do I do? How do I respond when I am stressed? Or I just I don't give a damn. So how you respond to stress? Then seek appropriate medical attention. When symptoms are persistent, severe, or unusual, seek attention that you may find healing before the disease becomes worse than. This is probably uh, yourself to evaluate yourself. Ask every day, am I sleeping well? At what time do I sleep? At worst, it would be 9 p.m. You would go to bed and sleep. But we take it up to midnight. One writer said 2 hours before midnight are better than 4 hours after midnight. Am I drinking sufficient amounts of water? Am I eating nourishing food or I'm just eating whatever comes on my table? Am I physically active or I'm living a sedentary life? Because the more sedentary you are, the more room you are giving to the build-up of diseases. Because if you're not using the energy, the body will give this energy to others who are willing to use it. And one of the things ready to use your energy is disease. So, am I managing well my stress or my stressful condition? So, any persistent changes in your health deserve your attention, that you may not experience worse repercussions if you don't listen to your body's sound. So, the language of your body, they are the symptoms that talk to you, the symptoms that tend to them. So, are you doing enough exercise? Are you eating well? Are you breathing fresh air? Evaluate this as you relate to the symptoms that you are experiencing. Patterns over time can be more informative than isolated observations. So you start to check time and chronicle how your habits are. Through this, you can know what really has caused challenges to my health. Any mood changes, uh, like give it time. You will that you have been robbed out from. So maybe so you could ask yourself these questions. If you ask, which body signal am I ignoring? So which body signal am I ignoring most? Why do people wait until they are at the severe case of illness that they come to check for attention? What changes do you need to take this week that may boost your health? And how can early attention to the symptoms support long-term health? And how does caring for your body affect good stewardship? As we know, this body God has given it to us as stewards. So in our next episode, we will look at your body's amazing defense system. Did you know that your body has a defense system that ensures that you are perfect in health? And next time, we shall discover how this defense system works. Praise God always.